Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm Thomasina,
And I'm Jimmy Ray.
and welcome to
Unanswered.
Unanswered. All right. So, we have lots of info for you today. Um, I have a story that I want to tell about a 55 plus community. What are you going to
Oh,
talk about
well, I'm
today?
just going to talk about the changing market.
Oh my gosh, ever changing, the
Holy
ever so
smokes.
changing. But right now it's really, really changing,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I'll do my story after we talk about this changing market because I think that's something that you guys are going to really want to dive into.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if it's just regional or maybe it's across the country. I'm not sure. Normally, our market is pretty protected
Yes,
because, we have the largest military installation in the world here. We have all the services are,
representative.
represent. Thank you.
I'm here for you, Jimmy Ray.
Weekend lips. And So yeah, we're normally insulated from what's happening, say, in industrial, say, Chicago or whatever. But it seems like the market has almost totally flipped from a seller's market to a buyer's
Yes,
market.
it has.
In that, I mean, I was just discussing this off mic with Thomasina earlier that I've got two deals, and one of them, the original offer was 3.5% closing cost assistance for their buyer, and then pay me, the agent, 3% as well. And I'm like, that's a total of 6.5%, which a year ago there were no closing costs. And I mean, there might have been light closing costs, but buyer's agents' fees were not included in on the deals. Now they're asking for the full 3%. Another deal asked for they were 35,000 light from the asking price on a new, fully updated townhome, and to boot, 4.6% closing cost assistance ask and 3% for their agent, which of course we didn't take. But that's what we're seeing a lot of these days, at least in southeastern Virginia.
Yeah, and it is all over. It is global. It has become a buyer's market. We're seeing more requests to assist the buyer and the buyer's agent
Yeah.
than we were before. Houses are sitting on the market longer right
Yes.
now, and it's not just our area. This is I'm just talking about all over the U.S. And so they are sitting on the market longer, an average of about 12 days longer right now. But it is growing because
So
last week it was 11. So it is growing on the days on market,
you
and
think that I mean, it's the rates have been these rates for a while.
they have, but they are a little bit elevated for sure. And I do feel that buyers now are taking their time and they're trying to decide because when they're paying a higher price for the rates, they're still ready to purchase, right? Because you don't
Right.
know futuristically, everyone can predict, but you don't know if the rates are going to go up. So everyone is buying now because you can always refinance in 6 months, right? You can
Absolutely, you
always
can.
refinance in 6 months if it comes down 1 year. But right now, if you're comfortable with the rate is so people are shopping
Yeah.
instead of just purchasing. And so they're going out and they're looking at the homes, they're making sure if they want a pool that the pool is a good pool,
Right.
whereas before it was okay if it needs a little bit of renovation,
Right.
we're
Right.
okay, but not anymore. So before with the seller's market, we were going above cost in some
Yeah.
situations, bidding wars, and
Yeah.
now it's a buyer's market where buyers are coming in and asking for assistance.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like there's as many showings requests these days. I mean, when you have a perfect property, reasonably priced where it should be, it used to be you had 7, 8 showings the first day, 7 or 8 showings the second day. I mean, it used to be popping like that, and now not so much. Maybe 1 or 2 showings a day on the weekend.
And the open houses are becoming more aggressive, and so that's good because it's getting buyers out more. And so as the market shifts to a buyer's market, the selling side has more open houses. So people are now going to these open houses, and so the showings aren't as prevalent because they're going to the open houses more because
Mm,
people are having more open houses. Even in my
makes sense.
neighborhood, around me, our neighborhood doesn't have too many houses for sale at any given point, but around us, I am seeing open house signs left and right every weekend. And so people are going out and taking a look
Yeah.
and, they're shopping around to
And it
see what they want.
it's more important than ever, I've found recently, that you price that property where it should be. Because if you are 10, 15 grand higher than it should be, That's not happening.
It's not, and it gives you what the industry calls a red flag. So if it sits on the market longer than most, people start to think something's wrong with it when really it's just the price.
Right.
And the market will always tell you if your price is correct or not. I always say within 2 weeks, if you don't have 6 to 8 showings, then you should probably come down.
Yeah.
And then have that conversation with, for agents out there, have that conversation with your sellers. Whenever you go in your appointment, let them know
Up front.
if we're starting high in there and they are just sticking to
Adamant.
their guns and
Yeah.
they want that higher price, that you can try that, but in 2 weeks you need to come down because you don't want it to be stale.
Right. And explaining that before you even list the property, I
Yeah.
think is key because it kind of since here's the reality of the situation. I'm glad to try your price because it's your house, your money. But after 2 weeks, can we reduce it to this price? Because we don't want it to get stale.
Yeah, and other other agents may be telling them a higher price because they want the listing, which is a horrible practice. Please don't do that, agents. Don't go in and tell somebody the price they want. Be honest with them. We are here to educate our sellers and to make sure we're the most professional. And by elevating that price is not a professional way of going about it by any
No.
means.
And good luck, fulfilling that promise
Yeah.
because it's already been proven that it's not going to work at that price. And as much as they want it to, as well as I do, that the market decides what your home is worth, not sentimentality or anything like
No,
that.
not at all. And I am seeing the houses around us going for a little bit of an elevated price than last year. So the prices are going up some. Somebody had told me the other day, "Oh, we're in a declining market." I don't feel we're in a declining market. I do feel we're in a buyer's market now as
Yeah.
opposed to a seller's market, but I don't
Yeah.
feel we're in a declining market. Statistically, we're not. If you look at all the numbers,
Right.
we're not in a declining market, but it is turning into a buyer's market, and that's okay. For those of you that haven't been around longer than 5 years, it's a little bit of a shock, and that's all right. And so we have a lot of people that haven't been around for 5 years,
Yeah.
and so they're not used to a buyer's market. It's been a seller's market pretty much since COVID.
And if you're with an agency or a brokerage and you've only been in the business a couple of years, don't be scared to approach your broker who has been in the business a while, has been down this road several times because they have great tips to help you in this flip-flopping market.
Yeah, and if you don't feel comfortable with your broker, I highly encourage you to go to a mentor or a senior agent that you are comfortable with. If you're not comfortable with them, please make friends and try to be comfortable with them. And you can always reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to you.
Right. I
No
was gonna
matter where you are in the US, I'm happy to talk to you. I may not be able to give you advice as far as licensing in a state or contractuals in a state that I'm not licensed in. I have Maryland, West Virginia, DC, North Carolina, and Virginia. But
all right.
I'm still happy to talk to you to ease, some of those nerves that
Yeah.
you may have, and just chat with you. I do coach people all over the US, and so I'm happy to do that
Well,
for
and
free,
also, I mean,
no
if
cost.
if you're uncomfortable, and she is the best. I mean, I'm just saying, trust me. She's very approachable, accessible, and full of good information. But if you are uncomfortable
Thank
with
you.
your broker and you're uncomfortable with a senior agent in your office, then maybe you're not in the right brokerage. I mean, that's something to think about.
It is something to think about. Or you may not be in the right industry. And I'm always here to ruffle the feathers, right? I'm sorry, agents, but I am. I don't mean to ruffle the feathers, but it's just I'm such a raw person when it comes to that. You may not be in the right industry, or you may be in the wrong area of the
Right.
industry.
Right.
Sometimes people who think that they love real estate and they want to be in could be administrative
Yeah.
as opposed to the actual agent. And there is a lot of
Absolutely.
good money in administrative.
Yeah. I mean, because you can be hired out by different agents to do their transactional stuff.
You can start your own business doing that.
Yeah, yeah. And your knowledge of, the real estate laws and all that stuff would be very helpful in
Yeah,
that
I was just
aspect as well.
speaking to a lady. I had to go for a regular checkup with my son. I was speaking to a lady at the hospital who had retired from being a paralegal for real estate, and she was like, "You know what? There could be so much money for anybody who just wants to do real estate administrative on their own and open their own business." And I was talking to her about it. I
Right.
knew a few people that did that, and they do make really good money. Some of them make more money than the agents. So
Yeah. Maybe that's a thought.
because they have people all over the US, right? And you
Right.
don't have to be licensed in the state to be administrative.
Wow.
Some of the brokerages will require it, but most don't.
Wonderful.
Yeah, you can be
There's
virtual
another
too
little
at
tidbit I
home.
never knew.
Virtual at home, which is really
Wow,
great.
that's
Yeah.
great. And see, you don't have to leave the house.
Yeah, you don't. I do highly recommend that for 1 year you are working for a company or an agent underneath of you, that you learn the ropes
Yeah.
first. But yeah, you definitely can do that.
Knowledge of how this machine works
Mhm.
would be invaluable in a
Yeah.
transactional
So yep,
coordinator.
this real estate world has been flip-flopped.
Yeah. So that's my big point this week. So that maybe you're not surprised. Maybe it hasn't hit your area yet. Um, but something to keep your eyes open for.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And for the story,
And now the story with Thomasina.
Casey,
Stand
the
by.
rest of the story. All right. So for those of you that may know who that is, I'm sure most of you don't. So anyway, um, 55 plus community in Florida. This lady was living there with her father. She was not 55 plus, but her father was.
Mhm.
The rules in the community were you could have one person in the household that was under 55, and that was it. And she was that person. And
Oh.
so she's living with her father. Her father passes away.
Mm,
Her father leaves the home to her.
mm,
Now we have one homeowner in the home that is not 55 plus. She says, I can't afford to leave. I need to stay here. This is the only home I have. It's paid off. Like this
mm.
is this, I can't leave.
Interesting.
The association is trying to kick her out, right? Saying, hey, you're not following the rules. You need to go. And this is the problem with 55 plus communities for a lot of people who are living with their parents. And so the community says, we don't have a problem with her. She's okay. She's been great.
Right.
We don't have a problem. The association says, no, she's got to go. They file a lawsuit to get her kicked out.
Wow.
Here's the issue, though, is as if that wasn't an issue, right? But here's the bigger issue.
Yeah.
So, and this goes for not just 55 plus communities, it goes for homeowners associations, COAs, condo associations across the globe. Um, if there is something that they want to put as a special assessment where they say, okay, you live in a condo and the whole building needs to have a new roof, they'll give a special assessment as
Right.
what you have to pay above and beyond what your monthly dues are.
Yeah.
They put a special assessment on the fees for their attorney of kicking this lady out of her house
Wow.
and taking her to court. And now everybody in the development has to pay a piece of it. They are livid,
Oh.
livid, livid. Google it, stay on top of it. It's a very interesting story. I would love to see where this is going to go.
Well, my question is this. When the gentleman bought the place originally, did it state in the documents that if he was to pass, he would have to sell the property?
It didn't say that if he passed, he has to sell the property, but it does state that there can only be one person there over the age or under the age of 55.
So if the person who bought the property dies, which is what happened in this case, the person that's under 55 has to move. Is that in the docs?
In a roundabout way, yes, it is in the docs. So it's it is it, the problem is will the court see that this lady doesn't have the money or the means in order to move and needs to stay in this home? Um, will they see that over, okay, if she sells it, she will be able to take that money and get
Yeah.
another place?
Yeah.
Or will this change how all the documents are written? I think that's definitely going to be the case futuristically. I think all COA and HOA's docs are going to change because of this
Yeah.
one court case. Because how are you how are you going to tell somebody they have to leave, even though it's in the docs? But how are you going to tell somebody they have to leave right now?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have any stipulation as to what the time frame is, right? And so it is, oh my gosh,
And how
it's
about the HOA creating this expense? That doesn't there have to be a vote or something taken to make this an expense that we'll pay our fair share
yeah.
in?
So here's the funny story. I'm so glad you asked.
Thank you. That's why I'm here.
So there was a vote, and it said that, and they kind of did it. I don't want to say they did it secretively,
Mm,
but all the people who voted were on the board,
mm.
and they really were the only ones that voted. There may have been a couple like
I wonder
onesie
what the
twosies.
quorum is.
Yeah, right. And so they did have a vote, and they all voted yes, but it was everybody that was on the board.
Yeah.
And so they moved forward with it. And so everyone in the community now is so upset about it
Mm,
because they don't feel like they were given the right information or given the right to vote correctly. Like
yeah.
there's all kinds of different versions of it, but it is an interesting story to follow. And then it also like just kind of makes you think, okay, 55 plus communities, because I have looked at 55 plus communities for my husband being over 55 now, right? And so I'm like, y'all know I love Florida. And so I'm like, let's look in
That's an
Florida.
understatement.
Well, there's a lot of rules in Florida because Disney lives there
Yeah.
and Disney rules there. And
She's my
so
Disney princess on the show.
and so there's a lot of rules in 55 plus communities. You can't most of them, 90 over 90% of them you around Disney, you cannot have Airbnbs and rent out and
Right.
different situations. So I've looked into a lot of them. Never did I think though, because I'm just thinking of myself, like if I had passed this or if I had given this opportunity and not passed
Mhm,
it up and went into a 55 plus community,
mhm.
which I had a couple opportunities, and something did happen to my husband, I mean, I never want that to happen, but if it did, I could get kicked out.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right to me. I mean,
Like,
if
take
you're
away the husband, I mean, take away the father and the daughter. I'm talking about husband and wife.
yeah, yeah, there should definitely be some, exceptions in those documents.
Those are things you guys need to talk and look and see about. And that goes for agents, that goes for um, people who are buying, selling, everybody. If you're an agent, you need to look at it for your client. If you're
Yeah,
buying, you need to look at it for yourself. If you're selling, you need to look at it,
yeah.
in depth so that you are disclosing what needs to be disclosed to the future buyer, right?
Now, would that be part of the due diligence on the buyer's agent part?
It is
Or does the seller have to disclose things like
It
that?
is it is on both, I feel. It depends on the state because we're in a buyer beware state, so the buyer themselves needs to look into this, but I'm saying if you're a good agent on both sides, you need to look into it and you need to ask the questions because no one's asked this question. I never thought about this. Like,
Yeah.
what would happen if we did move in here and something happened to my husband and I got kicked out?
And this is something that no one would ever think of. That is a great point you bring up, so that as agents, we now will think of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
So just different little things. If you're not up to date on real estate, and you're buying a home, I highly encourage that you start watching our podcast, watching other podcasts, looking into different things. I do think that the Morning Brew, which I'll give them a shout out, they send you an email every morning and it's kind of lighthearted on what's happening around the world and it has all kinds of different things in it.
Mm.
And you're able to kind of see what happened yesterday around the world that's hot topics. And that's where I picked this one up at.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was really good. And then on top of that, one of my agents sent it to me. So I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm getting it
This is a
twofold." Yeah.
biggie.
Yeah, so
Great
definitely
story,
look at
though.
that. Yeah, it's really good.
Good points.
As always, if you guys have any questions whatsoever,
Yeah.
please send them to us. Put them in the comments. We do read those as well, but send them to us. My Facebook is right there in the corner. You can click it. Jimmy Ray's phone number is down here. See it?
Mm.
There it is, like a little train. So make sure that you put that information in there. One last thing I'm going to go over.
Yeah.
We do have a few minutes. So if you notice, we have a new sign up here. You see that? We're going to get a better one, but that's where we're at right now. So the
Nice.
state of Virginia, for those of you that are local, they have decided that we used to be able to advertise and be one click away, meaning if you clicked on something, you could find the information for the brokerage
Yeah.
and you were able to get that information if you needed to as the general public. They have went away with that. Now there is no more one click. You have to display the phone number, email, or website, one of the three of your business whenever you're advertising. And this is advertising, even though we're not really advertising anything. This is advertising,
Right.
and so isn't flyers, so isn't reels or videos or anything like that. So I'm just giving a heads up on that. Make sure that you are displaying your brokerage phone number or email or website. I highly encourage the phone number. It's easy. Make sure you display it somewhere with all the advertising that you're doing so that you do not have anyone calling or breathing down your neck. We do it on everything now. If you don't want to display it in the video, make sure it's in the very first line of anything that you're writing on social media so that's easy to see.
Yep.
The general public cannot go and have to try to find it. And that's really with any business
Yeah.
that's DPOR licensed.
Now, if you have a referral for anyone coming to coastal Virginia, my number right on the bottom there.
Here it is. See the train?
That's who you want to call. I'll take good care of your problem. I promise you.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And again, if you have any questions, let us know. And we will see you next time on
Unanswered.
Unanswered.